Thank you for your time.
Now, the mill wheel, you said, was further down or here?
There it is, right there. See it? Right there.
It's still there?
That pit. That was the wheel
Was
pit.
it stone or was it wood?
It was probably wood in 1822.
Yeah.
They didn't start making the turbines until the 1840s and 50s.
I remember some history on that, yeah.
Yeah.
So over there would be
That would spin.
that would be the mill pond, correct?
Yeah, well, that's,
To energize the
that's the,
mill?
that's the escape way. If you go down, you'll see that wheel.
That's the raceway?
Yeah, that's the raceway going back out to the river. And there's your nice wheel pit. And the sluiceway, I mean, it must have ran a long, long way, which is kind of interesting.
I'm still trying to figure out. Pontiganson comes down Windsor Road, crosses Route 6, comes down by the cemetery.
Comes through here, goes to where the Barden, the Barden Reservoir,
Yeah.
across Central Pike, and there's that big pond over there across Central Pike. That was actually the Walkers' property.
Yeah.
They're buried up on the hill, except for Peleg, who's buried over here. And that would be the north. Like, you always buried people like on the northern end of your property because that was always the first frost, the worst, and all that. So when I did all the work out with all the, directional and stuff like that, their actual property is under the reservoir.
Oh, wow.
Under the reservoir.
I like Peleg's
Underwater.
epitaph there, too.
Yeah.
Life how short, eternity how long.
Yeah, you want to go take a walk over to that?
Popular ones.
Yes, let's do
you got it
that.
in
Oh,
there?
here,
I'll
here.
take that, honey.
It's about time for a time displacement, don't you think, Carl?
We would hope so. If I don't come back.
And if that happens, we'll let Tom do the talking.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. What are you guys going to go poof and disappear?
Rarely.
So I'll just look around and he's gone.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind. This year.
You can give you a ride home if you guys disappear together.
Can I have the car? Glowing ball about this big came out of the woods, circled over the cards, came back around and shot back into the woods.
That was about 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
and the
that
weather
was-
was just like this. It wasn't sunny, it was cloudy, so it couldn't have been a reflection. It was an actual glowing ball. It went right between everybody, and they're like, what the?
Yeah, it was the scariest thing, but it was so magnificent at the same
Yeah.
time. And the only bummer about that
Yes.
was it was a spare of the moment there.
A lot
Like,
of
oh, let's
interesting-
be
Just starting to set up. Didn't even get any cameras set up or
And
anything when it
they
happened.
had nothing set up.
Yeah.
But as they say, if more than one person sees it.
Yeah, there was six.
That's
Yeah.
testimony.
maybe it was
You don't know how it would
intentional.
come out anyway. If it would have
Yeah.
come out, it might have been a slight dot.
It was such
Everybody-
a bright light, though. It
Everybody
wasn't,
described it exact too.
even if there was sun, it was like a very white light. if that
Yeah,
makes
look,
any
you're under the
sense.
trees
Yeah.
like this.
And it was a perfect orb.
Do you have a theory? What would you ascribe that to? I mean, one would think a spirit, maybe a consciousness
Maybe,
moving around.
maybe they were interested in what we were doing,
Yeah.
making themselves known. Maybe they really liked tarot cards because it was so popular back then.
Yeah.
And what was
It was quite
really
interesting,
interesting is the card that was drawn.
There's a dump over there.
It was called
Yeah,
the
that's
Judgment
the old
card.
houses.
And that was the last one I had, probably about 4 or 5 cards. It was just very quick reading. And I remember the Judgment being drawn, and then that was the only card I remember.
So that's a lot to
reading.
do with judgment here.
Would they have been
Yes.
similar to the Rider deck, or what were they like back
Actually, it was. Well, they were very similar. A lot of times it was the cards with no photos on it, but the meanings remain the same. They
Yeah.
didn't have they did have Rider Waite, but I'm a little bit, foggy on the history of when Rider Waite came out, and I think it was later on in the 1800s.
then? Was this during the
But
height
prior
of
to that-
spiritualism, or
Pardon?
was spiritualism very popular at the time?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's that's when tarot cards have been popular. It's a form of entertainment. It was instead of having, TV or something like that on a Saturday night, they'd call on a fortune teller to use the spirit board. Back then, it was very, very popular. Tarot cards, that sort of thing, and they would just sit there and entertain the folks. So it was really just, so interesting. So I think that may have been what it was, because if they did not recognize the symbol on it, they knew Judgment
9 years to the day Peleg Walker died. And if it was not 9 years to the day, and it was the 15th, and it was on the same day. So it was kind of weird. But they died 9 years to the day he supposedly died suddenly. Only Potter, and that's their daughter.
Suddenly says a lot, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
No cause of death listed.
No, suddenly. See, she was a daughter of Dorothy Cole.
I'm looking for continuities. I'm looking for synchronicity. Sometimes you find something that's really remarkable. Like you say, the anniversary of Peleg Walker's death.
Yeah. And the sun rose and set the exact same time the day he died and the day Peleg Walker died, for what it's worth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I think that is synchronicity.
Yeah.
The difference between relating a coincidence to synchronicity is like when it's a coincidence, you say, yeah, it kind of happened at the same time. When it's synchronicity, I kid you not, this happened at the same
Exact time. Yep.
Same thing.
Yep. And
But in this case, it's
there's the coals. If you look way over there, see those white stones?
yes.
Well, over there, look, this is where Dorothy, the witch, the vampire, the whatever, everything. the murder victim, what else?
I heard she was a very kind woman,
She was.
very charitable, loved by all at the time.
She lived to be almost 92, so she couldn't be a witch or a vampire or whatever else. A murder victim and a transvestite or crossdresser. But her husband was a war hero, that's for sure. Nicholson. And she died in 1860. In fact, a friend of ours owns her house. Well, it burned down, but a section of it was left, and they built from it. And he owns it right over here. It's just the very first. You go to Hopkins Mill, pull into the little road there that takes you around the mill area. It's the first driveway on the right. It's a long driveway. You can't see the house from there, but.
Now, can you explain these stones, these unmarked stones, the older
This
ones?
is the original cemetery, believe it or not. When Peleg Walker bought this property in 1814, what, 1860? Yeah, it was on May 7th, which happened to be that, which is really cool, because that's my birthday. It mentions a burial ground, part of a burial ground, and that's these guys right here. Now you can see some of them have writing very, very long, gone and thick. But a lot of them, don't forget, these first founders and people of Foster, they were, like we said before, they were land poor. And so they really couldn't afford some massive, beautiful, incredible stones in many cases. And some of these they did the best they could, and some of them were just so old that they're basically, you can't read them anymore.
Now, is this known as Hopkins Mill Cemetery at the time?
No, it just said, no, it wasn't. It was just known as a burial lot, including the burial ground. And this was, I guess, the first burial ground for Foster.
Were initials carved or like
Somewhere you can
rudimentary
see, really, if you look carefully, you can see where there's etching really well far, just eroded. And some of the stones, look at some of these stones, they're really nice. They got here, it's carved nicely. Look at that. Look at this one right here. You can still see the etching in it.
Oh, wow. Okay, how far back could these go?
Probably the very first beginnings of Foster, 1700s. And when he bought the property, I think it was 1816, May 7th, 1816, when he bought this property, this was mentioned on it.
Really?
Yeah, so he had to respect it as a burial ground too. And he bought all of that all around. the burial ground was here, and he knew it, and it was going to continue with burials, obviously. 1805. It's probably one of the barely readable ones. There's one way back there. I can barely read it. I see an 1803 or 18 something. But they would not, actually didn't have probably a stone carver in this area to do all, to do anything, so the people did the best they could. Perhaps a lot of these people were carpenters or something, and they chisel out that stone. Joshua Hempstead, he was a farmer. He was a good town official in Connecticut. He used to take John Hartshorn's stones and do the carving. And he said sometimes it'd take him months to do a stone. And all he was doing was putting the names in it, not even all the stuff above it. So,
suppose the roots of this tree fed off the bodies they're interred?
Yeah, never know. Probably they're here. They were here. Yeah, huh? There was a tunnel that ran under Route 6. It might be the remains of right there. Where, when they put Route 6 in, they could, the people farming could bring their cattle under the tunnel. Because this was all flatlands. So they would bring the cattle under the tunnel and have them graze at the ground here and then bring them back, and the day is over, under Route 6.
Really? My goodness.
Okay, over here, William Potter is buried, and his wife. And over there, down below, is Mr. Peleg Walker. That's his stone, and his wife, Mary Walker. It's funny how they're buried in this enclosure. That's a good way of putting it. But the strange thing about it, these chisel marks, you can see some are pin and feather, right? And
yes,
that is after, way after 1822. You're talking like 1840s when that came about. So this was put in later, this whole thing. For some reason it was enclosed, maybe because the Burdick family are being buried there too as well, and they wanted to enclose the Potter lot, separated from the Burdick lot over there. So that could have been why, but you can see these markings. The original ones would be like a arrowhead marking, like a chisel.
Oh.
To cut the granite. This is a later idea. Somebody tried to clean that stone to do a grave ribbon, I'm expecting, because they wore it down a little bit. And that was a very bad thing to do. Yeah, it goes down below, yeah. If you use a brush or something, you can brush that section right out, which somebody probably did.
Peleg Walker died May 19th, 1822, in his 35th year.
We never tried anything. We could try.
Life, how short? Eternity, how long?
He's swimming, so we could ask. Yeah.
What's there? Who's that family?
That's the Burdick.
I think the Burdick. Yeah, that's the Burdick.
So that's a different cemetery number than actually number 38.
Now, Tom, have there been reports of paranormal activity here?
Well, Not that I know of.
I really need that.
We've never really tried anything. If you want to try, ask a few questions. You're on camera. Let's see what you capture. Where they're buried. I don't know if he knew where he was going to be buried in the end, but there's a lot of stones around here. They're just either fallen or
Mary Potter Walker. Peleg Walker's wife.
Yeah, but like not even carry any real equipment, just offers and rig.
Like so many years since I've been here, Tom, I really don't remember it being this narrow.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I always found that odd. It is. Trying to remember it really.
It was bigger.
Yeah.
No, it was always this narrow.
Paying my respects to one of my relatives.
So, I'll be able to find out who it is now.
So do you suppose there may have been some intrigue involving the Masonics of the time? He and David Wilkinson were both members of Hamilton Lodge.
Right, and a friend of ours now, who I became a friend of, his